Welcome to Game Over Cancer 2023 Spring Edition. We are kicking off this speedrunning the speedrunning marathon with a speedrun towards donations. So I'm actually going to start announcing them right now. We've actually received a $5 donation from Propies saying, here's to another event. Put it towards Sifa for Castlevania 3. We've also got another $5 from Propri saying, please put towards Sifa again. We've got a $5 donation from Shafe saying, any present. Good luck, Carter and Strizer and everyone. We got a $10 donation from Thad J. And we've got a donation from Guy Next Door 717 saying, much love, my dude. Good luck to all the runners. And so with that, we're going to kick off Game Over Cancer 2023 and with Pizza Tower run by Carter. Take it away, Carter.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first run of Game Over Cancer. I'm going to be doing a game called Pizza Tower today. For anyone that hasn't seen this game, it's kind of similar to the Wario Land series and the Sonic games, kind of all mashed together into one happy mess of a game. This is a very fast-paced game, so I'm going to have two commentators that are going to be helping me out here. I'm not going to be doing pretty much any of the talking throughout the run, so I'm going to let my commentators introduce themselves. Go ahead.
Hello, I am XBC30 EP450, or just XBC. I'm an admin for the Pizza Tower speedrunning leaderboard, and yeah, I'm gonna be talking about the game. What else is there to say?
Hello, I'm Pearlnock, new speedrunner, more so to Super Metroid. Been trying to do some of Pizza Tower, and outside of that I do artwork and digital art.
Okay, so I'm going to count us down here. We're going to be going on go, so let me just get everything ready really fast, and then we'll get started here. So in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Wait, what am I, Carter? The Discord stream.
Oh, yeah, let me get that up for you right now.
All right.
All right, I'm going to mute myself. Good luck.
All right, so we're in. Welcome to Pizza Tower. Carter mentioned earlier, this is basically a 2D platformer heavily inspired by Wario Land 4. And yeah, like the whole game is nuts. We're gonna be running through the tutorial here. Pretty simple stuff. Do everything you need to know. Got a few more advanced tricks out, but that's stuff that you are able to figure out on your own. Play the game a little bit more. And what you'll think Carter here do for about 90% of the time is going to be mock dashing, that little sprint there. It's extremely important. It allows you to go fast, obviously, but on top of that, it lets you run up walls. You can run over enemies, kill them on contact. You can break metal blocks, that's the only way that you can break those. And yeah, it's just what you'll be seeing for about 90% of the run.
Quickly going to point out that every level you rescue toppings that gets you money, and getting money will let you buy you get the key or the gate to the boss. And we won't be going through all the levels this run. We'll actually be skipping the sewer level, and we'll be skipping a few toppings in a couple of levels.
All right. So now we're going into John Gutter. Pretty straightforward level. There's no crazy gimmicks here. Every level has kind of like its own thing going on. But this first couple levels are going to be mainly just letting you get used to how everything goes. The main way that each level flows, we're just going to be running through the level, collecting toppins, which we need those for overall game progression, and at the end of each level, coming up right now, there's a pillar that we have to bust down. John the Pillar. Ooh, a bit of... There you go. There.
Giant sparks.
You bust down the pillar, you trigger escape sequence, and then you have to backtrack your way through the level and get out before the timer runs out.
There's no dying in this game, or at least the only way you can die is John Goddard gets the pizza face, he wakes up and then touches you during the escape sequence, and you have to start the level over. Or during a boss fight, you do have a life meter, but other than that, there's no penalty or dying, say normally, just slow down. But that's still bad because it's a game you want to go fast. But there's never a fear of like messing up where you die.
Yeah, and even when you're speedrunning, you lose a bit of time, but generally if you make a mistake and get hit, you can generally just shrug it off and just keep going. So that's a nice little thing about the game. If you're just getting started, it doesn't generally punish you too hard for any mistakes.
And also, at the end of each level, there's a tally score screen to get your grades of how good you did in the level. You can actually skip that, which saves quite a bit of time.
Oh yeah, it saves like about 2 minutes over the course of the run. So the way that works is that at the end of the level, if you stand in front of the gate, and then you go into the pause menu, and you press exit while you're holding up on the D-pad, it kind of confuses the game for a moment, and it for like a single frame, it counts the level as completed, but then you exit out of the level as if you had lost or quit out. So you skip
can mess up on
screen.
that, which is very devastating, but usually, people got it under control.
Yeah, like the thing about that trick is, like, it's not really difficult to do, but if you mess it up, you might just actually end up quitting out of the level for real and lose all of your progress. Which, if you're going for a serious speedrun, you basically have to redo the whole level all over again, which is basically just dead run right then and there. So, while it's not a difficult trick, you are playing with fire at the end of every level, which is,
Yeah, it's at least how fast-paced this game is going, all this stuff going on the screen. I myself can tell you I have messed it up a few times because I was just so busy with the escape and obsessed with getting a good time that I'll just mess up the exit.
Yeah, it's really easy to make a slip, and one slip is all it takes. It's brutal. But, again, not terribly hard, and you also have a lot of cool stuff going on over the rest of the run, and, skipping the result screen does feel kind of cool, so, that's just how it is. We're gonna be closing in on exit in like 2 or 3 rooms from now, where we're gonna be able to get to see again that results screen skip.
I know John Gutter was the first level, but to me this felt like the real first level. Maybe because it had a gimmick with the knight armor, but to me this is like one of my favorite first introductory levels.
And now with $100 in hand, we're gonna buy our first boss gate, and we're gonna go into our first boss fight, Pepperman.
The Gatekeeper.
Yeah, so this game has very little RNG, and it's only in a few spots. And this fight is not a place where there is RNG. However, the way that this boss fight works and is scripted, there's a very specific set of steps that you have to follow for everything to go about the way you expected. If you can do everything right, and you stick to the happy path, the boss fight goes great. The moment you make one mistake, and you kinda stray off that happy path, you're stuck on the desert without a map, and at that point you have to really start to improvise and hope for the best.
Yeah, recouping's not fun in this fight. It actually makes me kind of salty because the psychological damage you take. I mean, just look at his face. It's like constantly trolling you. It's like, hope you can improvise on the spot, because if you can't recover this, to me at least personally, this fight can kind of spiral and get out of hand really quickly.
I imagine that, like, all the laughing and paintings around you doesn't really help with that, does it?
No.
Peppermint's just the worst.
Love the music though.
But Carter's gonna deal with that nice and neat. Gonna grab the key, And as soon as he does, he's gonna exit out of the level. Again, that's gonna... This one is not nearly as volatile as the normal level variant. You just exit out of the level, nothing fancy, no risk or anything. And you don't get a rank, which is actually relevant for 100% and 101%, where you actually need to record the rank for game completion purposes. But this is any percent. We don't care about that. We're just gonna grab a key and we go.
Fast, gotta go fast. The shame, since we're going so fast, you don't get to hear the songs loop. Or if we do, it's very brief.
The whole soundtrack is just so good. I mean, you do get to hear a little bit of Pete's time, so there's that. And we're gonna be going into Ancient Cheese. This level has a couple of things going on. First, those bombs, you pick them up, you toss them at rats, clear the way. Pretty straightforward. And also, in some of the rooms, you might see little cheese blocks. If you're a Mario kind of person, those are basically donut blocks. You step over them, they disappear, so you gotta keep moving. Their partner's gonna jump over some of those enemies to avoid the hit stop that happens when you run them over. Everything freezes for like about 6 frames, so you know, a little time save.
Gotta get all the time saves while we can.
All right. We kind of talked about it for a little bit earlier, but want to go into more detail. The reason that the way that game completion overall works, you need to beat the game. You need to reach the 5th floor and beat the final boss there. However, to advance through each of the floors, we need to beat the boss and grab their keys. And to access the boss fight in the first place, we need to buy our way. There's a tilt screen skip, very nice. We're gonna skip past that. We could have taken that door up to the next floor, but we're gonna go into this level, grab the toppings there, and get a bit more money. There's several boss fights that we need to buy into in order to actually reach the final boss on the last floor. And
so we'll be getting all the. I like to think of the toppings as stars if we're comparing this like Mario 64. So we just have to get enough stars to access the final boss.
That's one way to put it. There's 95 toppins in the game. 5 toppins for 19 levels. And we're going to need
90 or 88 or something.
There's 9 toppins that we can skip. The route mostly consists of simply playing well and taking full advantage of those toppins that we can afford to miss. So for that purpose, we're going to be skipping one certain sewer level on the 4th floor.
You just call it the sewer level.
And we're going to be skipping 2 toppins on golf on the 2nd level, and then 2 more toppins on the Pig City, another level, which totals up to 9. For all the other levels, we are going to need to go into all of them and collect all the toppins in them to actually be able to afford to reach the final boss. So that's the reason we're going into these levels in the first place.
Speaking of passing up on toppings, can I pipe in with a donation?
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
We've got a $20 donation from Silvarium saying, "Here, use this to pass up on a couple of toppings to go faster."
Awesome! Although we have to find a way to actually get that money into the game. Have we looked into that?
Mr. Sticks will figure it out. When
Actually,
money's involved,
if we leave
he'll
it to
find
Mr.
a way.
Stick, he's probably gonna figure out a way to keep it all to himself.
And one more time, just real quick, because we might have started the streamer run, but just going over again, this run or support of Canadian Cancer Society. That's correct, right?
I believe so.
Most definitely is. Game Over Cancer does collect money. It goes towards the Canadian Cancer Society.
All Right.
So I just enjoying the music. Just don't get to hear it too much.
We're gonna be crawling our way out of Lata's dungeon. The lava over there can be pretty nasty. It doesn't actually hurt you.
The time you lose or the stun lock.
But the burn wastes a bit of time, kills your momentum, forces you to like stand still for a bit, so something that we'd much rather want to avoid. And with one last result screen skip, we're gonna wrap up the first floor and move on to the second. Now,
All right, Jerome, you're up.
me.
Which you don't get to really see him too much because of this any percent.
Yeah, like any percent is just all no breaks. Now we're gonna go into Oregano Desert first, and there's gonna be an important trick coming up: a hot wing skip. The gimmick for this level is the Firemouth transformation. There's gonna be certain enemies that toss spicy chicken wings at you. If you get hit by them, Pepino's gonna gobble them up and start burning, and that's the whole transformation of a few moves. However, there's one room where we're going to skip. We're going to skip most of a room by doing with that transformation. If you land on top of an enemy and you press jump right as you hit them, all the while you're touching a wall, you can jump a little bit higher than normal, and that height is going to be just enough to reach a ledge that you would usually have to do a whole trip around the room in order to reach.
You basically get to skip the entire room, which is pretty nice when you pull it off.
Coming up. Let's see.
All right. Yeah, boy!
Hey! Yeah, you need to press jump right as you touch the enemy, so there's a little bit of precision there. Luckily, Carter managed to nail it. Very good stuff. But yeah, besides that, this level's gonna be pretty straightforward. Use Firemouth transformation to fly around, try to go fast, dodge cows.
Oh, you gotta dodge the cows. Oh my god, they hit you. There's so much stun time from them, too.
Oh, it's nasty.
In any of your transformations, most of them you lose the ability to dash. So there's a few transformations in the game where you see Carter get hit on purpose just to revert back to normal so you can continue running.
Oh yeah, that's mainly a thing that you'll see a lot in Fun Farm, another level in this floor. But yeah, there's two ways to revert transformations. Generally, you go over to a priest, he helps you out. Thank you very much. But there are other cases in which you might want to take damage. The cows don't technically deal damage per se, but there's other things that can deal damage to you, and those can also knock the transformation out of you.
Kind of reminds me of Mario. We have the power up, you get hit, it goes away.
Yeah. Although that's not something you generally do, because in most cases, whenever a transformation is available to you, you need it to progress anyway, so... Ooh, nice fastball.
But yeah, like you said, mostly in Fun Farm, there'll be a few spots, but any other level of the transformation, you just generally use it to get to the next spot or room, and then, you know, you don't have to think about getting rid of it, usually, typically.
Alright, we're gonna wrap up Oregano Desert, and we're gonna be moving on to Waste Yard. The gimmick that this level... The gimmick that this level has going for it, there will be a few ghosts, and upon touching them, Pepino dies.
Okay.
Yeah, like that thing about Pepino not being able to die, that we kind of lied. He
dies for the greater cause.
Ghost.
Oh, he's dead.
Goodbye.
But if you get you collect the ghost peppers while you're a ghost, they make you accelerate faster. And you need to get 3 of them in order to destroy a ghost block. So you don't need them in every room. I think there might be 1 or 2 rooms you can skip collecting all the peppers, but I think for most of them you do need to collect all the peppers just so you can progress to the next room. Oh,
yeah, there's certain blocks like those ones. That one was not in the way, but some of them are. And
That goes right there reminds me of Earthworm Jim.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that this art style might remind you of. Earthworm Jim in a way, Ren and Stimpy
All the
in a
retro
way.
games, yeah.
And
Alright, pushing up
even if there's not a block in the way, you might still want to grab those peppers simply just to go faster.
but gotta go fast.
Gotta go
Especially
fast,
on the
always.
escape. I think near the very end, you have to get the third one. Good job, Priest. Does the Priest have a name? I didn't even look that up.
I don't believe he does. Or if he does,
Just
I'm
a
not aware of
generic
it.
Priest.
Also, the ghost of John Pillar that we just busted down to trigger this game, he's gonna be following us around. If you get touched by him, he's gonna throw you back to the end of the room. For a casual playthrough, this is kind of a slap on the wrist, since the timer's fairly generous. You can afford to make a few mistakes and still make it out. But for a speedrun, that's obviously not great, since every second counts. Luckily, I don't think Carter's gonna be running into that problem anytime soon. He's got this. You might have seen, at a couple of points, Carter seemed to fall really fast all of a sudden. That's a little trick called fast fall, and it's actually kind of difficult. The way that it works is that while you're dashing, if you press down and grab on the same frame, you can use the falling speed of the dive, and then the state of the grab then cancel out of the grab. Basically, you can achieve your maximum falling speed right away, but again, to be able to pull that off, you need to press down and grab on the same frame.
We got more to chicken.
Oh yeah, more to chicken! So yeah, fun farm. The gimmick of this level is going to be Morta Chicken from the iconic PS1 mascot platformer puzzle game, Morta Chicken.
More.
It's kind of funny. The way that this whole cameo happened was basically McPig, one of the developers for the game, happened to run into the rights holder for Morta Chicken. And he kind of just walked up and went, "Hey, do you think I could use your chicken in my game?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, sure, go for it." And the rest was history.
I mean, that's pretty freaking cool. Let's get cameos and stuff, and like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Honestly, who would say no to something like that?
I know.
Unless they were expecting like royalties, but I would like do it for free, to even if it was like my IP, just because. One, it's a video game being made. It's not like you're creating something like the pig liked the character so much to ask the creator, "Hey, can I have a cameo?" That's really super, in my opinion.
We're gonna be taking damage against that potato there to lose the transformation. As we said before, some of the transformations lock you out of the dash, which is generally the fastest way to move around. So, unfortunately, we kind of have to like ditch more to choose in the name of speed. Sorry.
In the name of speed.
In the name of speed. Oh, nice! That's a tricky jump. You need to like climb up to that ledge and then jump right on top to be able to basically skip a jump that you would usually need more for.
And he also ditched more in this room, so he can go fast.
We gotta go fast. Alright, wrapping up this one last level. Well, this last level. We still have Fast Food Saloon coming up. Funny thing, we're gonna walk next to that boss gate to trigger Mr. Stick. As you get close to the door, Mr. Stick spawns, and you kind of have to wait for him for a little bit to arrive. Then you can buy the boss gate. But once he flies in, he stays there, and you don't need to wait for the animation anymore.
Yeah,
so
he spawns,
as we exit out of this level, Mr. Stick is going to be standing there and waiting. So that's going to be important at the end of this level in just a moment. And right here, we are on Fast Food Saloon. The whole thing that this level is going for it is first, the sausage.
Sausage accelerates really fast.
Way faster than Peppino could on its own. The thing is that you can't really jump. If you try to do so, you're just gonna dismount. Which you can do some fancy stuff with it, but no, you leave the sausage behind. Which
Mainly need them just to bump out the rats or progress through like those gates that give a few seconds to get through.
you have those little pants to push you up, and also you have Horsey, that little
Horsey.
horse over there. There's a few points in which you must beat this guy into a race. And for a lot of people playing the game for the first time, he's claimed very, very many victims. It's hilarious.
I was one of them, I'll admit it. Because once the horse reaches the topping, it's in prison forever unless you restart the level.
And I mean, look at that grid. Look at that. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
It's so bad. I love it. So mean. Luckily, Carter is gonna have this under control. There's nothing really to worry about here, but...
If you ever go back to the horse, you see the funny face on him that you beat him.
Yeah, he's just...
like mega salty.
Absolutely.
What was the trick that was coming up here with the uppercut for the key?
Yeah,
To
so
save time.
what you just saw there was up door. When you do usually when you open a locked door, there's a little animation where Peppino stands there being like, "Hey, nice." However, that animation can be skipped if you do an uppercut and you let it fully play out, and then you land next to the door while holding up. If you do all of that right, you're just gonna go through the door right away, no animation or anything. The thing about up door is that you need to have you need the animation of the uppercut to fully play out, and sometimes if the locked door in question is in a tight room, you might not have enough room to do the whole uppercut, and...
Okay, the uppercut's animation needs to finish.
Nice!
Oh, you got skip.
Okay, so what you saw right there was the Vigilante uppercut. As you do the result screen skip, as you exit out of the level, Peppino falls down from the sky because you failed, you're just gonna crash down. However, as you fall down from the sky, there's a moment in which you overlap with Mr. Stick on the ground below, and if you're holding up as this happens, you can buy the gate, which kinda interrupts the animation. And warps you up to Vigilante, the next boss fight. Now,
You get a gun.
we're gonna put that gun to good use, because as you might be able to see, we're gonna trap Vigilante in an endless loop of pain. If you hold the grab button, so in this battle, you can't grab, instead you use that button to shoot. And if you hold the button, you can charge up a big shot that deals a bunch of damage. So basically the whole strategy that we use for this fight is just charge up a big shot, then fire 2 shots and just stun him. Then do that over and over again while Vigilante is bouncing around, so he doesn't really get a chance to do anything at all.
Yeah, you just pretty much straight up bully him, and it's great.
He gets bullied so hard, it's
Even here, he gets
genuinely
bullied.
nasty.
That did get me the first time. Because I was like, what draw? I thought the level was over, and I just had to restart the fight because I lost. I was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, we get to go to the 3rd floor where we get to see the next playable character. It's coming up soon.
Can I just pipe in with a donation?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Perfect. We've got a $20 donation from Hardcore XBL saying it's dangerous to go alone. Take this from the day shift.
Do you have any more you'd like to read?
Oh, that's it for the moment. But if
Okay.
anybody wants to donate, they just type exclamation D in the chat. We'll give you all the information you need.
Very well. In that case, we're just going to move on to Cross Cove. As you can see, this level has... Oh, wow, nice!
Ooh, that was
Carter blazing through.
slick.
This level has a couple things going on. First, those little patches of water. Usually, if you try to walk down on them, piranhas will attack you, which doesn't really hurt you, but again, kind of stops your momentum, wastes time, bad stuff.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that barrel transformation there.
But if you go fast enough on the water, you can actually run on the water without the piranhas interrupting you. If you have, is it max speed or one right before maximum speed?
You need to reach Mach 3, which
Okay, Mach 3.
it's kind of the second fastest speed you can go. You can go a little bit faster still. Oh, nice! But the higher, but at the higher speed, you don't really gain any new properties or anything. It's just going faster. Mach 3 is really important.
That also scares the enemies, right? Stun some of them.
Yeah, like at that speed threshold, you can break metal blocks. You gain access to the super jump, which you might have seen a few times. You can scare enemies ahead of you, kill them on contact.
Except the undead.
We'll get to that in a bit. Oh, Snowman.
On that with the battle transformation, just spin. Don't get high jump, but it's a cool little fun little treat gimmick. Gives the level some flavor.
To maneuver, because you kind of you can't move left and right away. You kind of your momentum kind of carries over a little bit, which can make it a little tricky to do tight movement. But you also get to roll around, which is pretty funny.
You got that goblin guy there periodically shooting his cannonballs at you.
Oh yeah. We move fast enough that we generally don't have to worry about it too much unless we start to stumble. Although in this room we can kind of dodge the ball as it opens the way for us. What a kind fellow.
I think at the end he shakes his fist at you.
Oh yeah, he's not happy about it.
Yeah, there he is.
Goodbye. And with that, we're done with this level. Now, as we exit this level, and we start moving on to the next, we're going to do a funny little movement here, and that's that jump right there. It
has a purpose.
As we jumped down there, that might have seemed innocent, but as we do that jump, we get just close enough to Mr. Stick on the ground above that we spawn him right there. Usually, if you first arrive at the boss gate, you need to wait for him to spawn, then buy the gate from him, and then wait for the gate to show up.
But now he spawns, so you don't have to theoretically waste time waiting for him to spawn and everything when you come back to him. And now one of the coolest parts of the game, in my opinion, you get to play as Gustavo and Brick.
Yeah, the two guys that really matter.
I can't wait until they make the sequel, Gustavo's Revenge. Pizza Tower 2, Gustavo's Revenge, or something.
Yeah.
But they do the same stuff. Gustavo and Brick have a double jump, and after the second jump, Brick does the little body slam that can destroy the blocks below him. Just a fun, different, alternate way of controls compared to Peppino. They both do pretty much the same thing, but it's just really cool to have a little variation. He can even kick Brick as a projectile, and then he has his own animations of running around and stuff. They're really hilarious. I wish there was more of him in the game. We do see him again in the Pig City, but it's very short-lived. So pretty much for at least this run, any percent, this is the most we're going to see of Gustavo and Brick before we go back to that guy.
Yeah, so Gustavo and Brick they achieve similar things to Peppino, but they go about it in somewhat different ways. They can't climb walls, they can't super jump, but Gustavo can double jump. He has a wall jump that lets you climb walls and stuff like that. You do have the brick projectile. You have it's kind of weird and very different from Peppino, so it throws a lot of people off at first. But we do have a couple of Gustavo mates running around, just figuring out the best ways to get stuff done. It's just they're just funny. They're just funny.
Also, like, Gustavo looks so angry in his anime. I just love his sprites.
Seriously.
Just so alive, full of soul and character. And then when Brick's waiting for you to return, he's just reading a paper. Thought that was kind of cool.
With cheese on it, it's just great.
Sometimes you have to wait for him to come back to you before you can use them again, depending on what you want to do.
Yeah, you can't go into the next room without Brick, and you can't kick the rat if you don't have a rat to kick. So if you're not careful, there might be a couple of times where you need to you're just waiting on Brick to come back before you're able to do stuff. But if you're careful, that's generally not a problem that you run into a lot. And over the course of this level, you might have noticed that little pizza guy following you around. In this level, you're basically delivering pizzas, and that's how you get each of the toppings.
I never had it run out. Do I assume that you just... Is it like fast food saloon? If the pizza timer runs out, you can't get the topping?
Yeah, I suppose you could compare it to that. Although,
I just never let it end, so I never experienced it.
This timer is far more generous. Back to that guy.
Back to that guy. So much going on in the screens. Like, at least one of my troubles with speedrunning this, I really have to memorize the rooms down because everything's shaking at you. It's just like, for me, it's easily disorienting.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. The game moves insanely fast. It's just, you definitely need to memorize things here and there to not ram into walls constantly. And now we're gonna move on to Deep Dish 9. I think I'd say this is personally my favorite level of the bunch. You just got cool music, you got cool level, kind of
olive.
gimmicks.
Oh yeah, and you get the rocket here.
So the rocket lets you fly up and down freely. However, you're forced to move either left or right as you get basically dragged around by the rocket. You can turn around, but you can only do that while you're touching the ground. So there will be a few cases where you might see partner sticking to the ground to be able to do those maneuvers.
Just like in real life.
Yeah.
I get the little cool cutscene here, going to the next section.
In outer space.
Oh, this level reminds me of Toe Jam and Earl, Panic and Funkatron.
Yeah, I think I can kind of see.
I don't know if you ever played that game. It's a really old. It's for the Sega Genesis. Came out in the 90s.
I've never played it, but I've seen. I've seen it. It's weird.
The whole. Oh man, I remember just back in the day, everyone would be making what the equivalent is of indie games today. We're being spammed back in the day. You get so much variety, but now it's like everything has to be AAA and like Mass Effect, Gears of War, which I still like those games. And like, it's really another reason why I think Pizza Tower is such a treat. Retro feel, even if you're not into retro games or anything, the game itself is still fun. But it's like, it's such a vibe. It could be the music, the gameplay, the retroness, just the character. Everything comes together really nicely. And I think you might have mentioned this before. It was in development. I thought it was like 2 or 3 years. I think you said it was like 4 or more.
5 years, actually.
Oh man! Holy cow.
Like this thing's been in the oven for quite some time, and I'm really glad to finally see it just out in the wild and letting people. Oh, nice!
Oh, I thought he was gonna fall for a minute.
That was a very tight jump. We're gonna on and off block this little puzzle there.
So yeah, 5 years in the oven, not burnt. What more can you ask for? And it was worth the wait.
Alright, so another cute bit of pub movement. We're gonna go down to the boss gate. We're gonna buy the gate. And while this thing goes up, we're gonna make our way over to golf. Rather than just waiting around, we're just gonna save a little.
On the way back.
And now we're gonna go into golf. And earlier we kind of went into how we're not going to grab all the top-ends and how we're going to skip some of them. In this level, we're going to skip 2 of the top-ends. The basic strategy, well, first off, the gimmick, as you can see, is just golf. You got a little grease ball there. You smack him around, and oh, a little blunder there, but that's fine. We're just gonna recover really quickly. There you go.
Hans Moment.
So we're gonna go into. There's 4 golf courses locked into different rooms. We're gonna go into 2 of them, sorta. Well, yeah. We're gonna go into 2 of the golf courses, and we're gonna get 2 of the top-ins that are there. You need to complete these golf courses in order to unlock a top-in and be able to grab it. And then we're gonna go over to the final. We're gonna go over to the final hole, and the thing about that one is that generally you're supposed to, as you complete that hole, it triggers the escape. And you basically get locked out of the way you came. You have to go forward, do a whole escape section where you do more golf, but we don't have time for that. Instead, we're gonna do Berg skip. We're going to we're gonna rush it into the room. We're gonna get one of those burger golfer enemies to complete the hole for us. And during that time, we're gonna run back the way we came to get out, basically skip a
You have just enough time, I think, to do it too.
Alright, forward him down there. And while we run back,
Boom.
he completes the course, and we're out.
Now we just have to get back to the beginning and it's done.
Usually you would be doing a whole new set of rooms where you'd be doing more golf during the escape, but instead we just do this. This saves like 40 seconds.
No joke.
This trip alone.
And with new route, it's still good to do because we were skipping 2 of the toppings. Don't even need to go down there.
Yeah.
And a game like this, a time save like that is huge.
Yeah. When the game first came out, what we did was just go into this level, run straight to golf, run straight to the final hole, and just do Berg skip, and we just missed 4 top-ins there. But over time, we realized that we saved a little bit of time by doing 2 of these holes and then skipping 2 other top-ins elsewhere. And now we're just gonna...
the noise. The man himself. This boss doesn't feel... We did make me salty at the beginning. Would you say he's kind of RNG? Not really, though?
Yeah, sort of. The attacks that he does are decided by RNG. And if he does the same attack, the first time he does each attack, they're pretty short, they're pretty quick. But if he ever does an attack more than once, he does a lengthier version. So depending on how well you do and which attacks you get, RNG can make this fight slightly longer or slightly shorter. But not by a whole lot, so it's generally
just a little bit.
Nice.
Now, as people may know, this is a tribute to the Dominoid from Domino's. And if anyone ever played the original NES game, the Dominoid, you'll notice he flips you off here. The Dominoid actually did that in the original NES game. It killed all the enemies on the screen, including like missiles and projectiles. It was a special move you would have to get, but I thought it was really funny that they even paid tribute to the game as well as the Noid himself.
Oh, he's just a funny little gremlin. As you might have been able to see, you get little enemies there that you can throw back at them to create openings. And
alright, well
that's
done.
The fight. Very good stuff.
Got Heavy's minigun from Team Fortress 2, but
I know that.
Noisette says no to that. You ain't got time for TF2.
Oh, come on.
Nope. You gotta she was like, you gotta choose TF2 or me. But then she didn't give him a choice. She's like, you're choosing me. So it wasn't really a choice to begin with.
Yes.
All right. Level 4.
Moving up to floor 4. We're gonna go into Big City first.
City.
This is going to be the second level in which we're going to be skipping a couple of top-ins. This level has a couple of things going for it. You have grind rails. Whoa!
Iron rails, taxi cabs, and a bunch of pigs in the background.
Yeah, you have the handcuffs. They kind of cuff you up and they leave you. You can run them over if you have enough speed. So Cutter's gonna be fine on that.
So we'll be skipping to because this level you get to play as Gustavo and Brick again. And when you're going into those areas with the toppings with Gustavo and Brick, the police pig takes Brick away from you, and it's kind of time consuming to recover him just to progress. So that's why we started getting those 2 toppings in the golf level so we can skip them here. And in the end, it saved more time by skipping the ones in the Pig City.
Yeah, each of these taxis holds a topping, and is the 4th and 5th taxis on the Gustavo part of the level. They can be a little bit longer. Although, we have since found a few optimizations for it, so maybe we'd have to reconsider on whether it is longer. Now we have to.
Is it going to be making a comeback? That'd be awesome. I'll be down for that.
Maybe. We have to see.
Is it the skip to kill the pig or not have him grab Brick?
That penis in jail now.
Yay, Gustavo and Brick. Probably the funniest level is Gustavo. Just the music with him doing his things. It's too good. Got like the street music going on. He's just humbling everything in his way.
Yes. Sadly, the 2 toppings that we're going to skip in this level are the ones, as we said before, are in those taxis there, which are going to make this Gustavo time significantly shorter than before.
Make me sad.
And it's gonna be the last we're gonna be seeing of them. But you know, they were there.
We'll see him again for the last boss.
Well, true. He does show up, but we'll get to that.
Not the same.
It's not the same, I suppose. I mean, Brick is there too. He gets used as a projectile against you, but he's there.
He is there. And now the whole city's on fire, which I thought was really funny too, and all the pigs are like panicking. Back to that guy.
Fine. I guess we're just gonna go back to playing Pepino. I guess, whatever. And we're just gonna... At this point, escape is a pretty straight shot to the way you came. This level can go by really fast if you skip all the taxis, so... But this is kind of funny, but, you know.
Yeah. That's why we don't have to go to the sewer level.
Hi, Snotty. Yeah, that slime you saw down over there, he's just there on the hub, and if you kill him, he dies permanently.
It's like the opposite of that Gammon character in World of Warcraft. There's a Tauren in the Orgrimmar. You kill him, he keeps coming back, but everyone just keeps killing him. He doesn't do anything. You can just kill him. But I think it's funny in this, you kill the guy, or Snotty, he's gone for good. Just like in real life. We all have choices we have to live with.
Now, Carter is gonna be sparing him. He's gonna do his best to avoid him. Because he's a cool guy. He did nothing wrong. Although, if you stayed along the ground, you can't really accelerate while you're jumping, while you're in midair. So, it's jumping over Snotty to avoid him. You kind of lose a little bit of time in doing so, but just saying.
So you're saying for the future speed runs when like everything gets really optimized, he needs to die for the sake of the frame.
That you probably lose a bit of time by sparing Snotty. That's all I'm gonna say.
It finally happened, guys. He got turned into a pizza. He became what he ate.
Yeah.
The run speed on this transformation is actually really fast.
Oh, yeah, like, you do have a spin attack, but it's not quite as fast as just how quickly you move if you just walk, which is kind of funny.
Especially as a box, you don't have legs or anything to run. You're hopping.
And if you jump, you can carry over that speed into midair, which can let you fly through some rooms quite quickly if you're careful not to bump into anything. We're gonna fly through. Yeah, like here you can see just how fast you can like fly around. We're not going to
At the
secret,
end coming up. Skip
but
the
we're not
secret.
gonna actually go into the secret. We're just going to that section to just save a little bit of time.
At the end, the door spawns, but it's a little debated clickbait that you have to race to the top because the door gets basically taken up and you have to follow it and wait for it to arrive before you can exit. But Carter's going to race up there before it even gets there, go into another room, exit the room, and come back so the door's already respawned. So you don't have to waste time waiting for the door to come up.
Yeah,
now
like,
go back up.
because you get there so much quicker than the door catches up to you that... Okay, so that over on the left, you might have seen a pipe there that takes you to the 4th level in this floor. We're going to be skipping that one since it happens to be the longest level to clear. And in doing so, we're going to be missing out on 5 tuppence. However, since we've been collecting every other tuppence along the way, right now if we collect all the other tuppence in the remaining levels, we're going to have just enough money to be able to buy into the final boss and beat the game. So
now in the refrigerator with the undead Lich King army, aka the Snowmen, because they do not tremble in fear when you're going at Mark 3 or 4. They can get a little annoying.
Usually when you run into enemies, they get scared, which kind of lets you run them over for free. But not these guys. They're just gonna keep sliding at you, and if you run into them from the front, where they have the pointy nose, you will get hurt. There's a few things you can do. If you do a little hop, you can jump over the nose and avoid getting hurt and losing a little bit of time. Yeah, like they've been a headache for a lot of people because you kind of have to be a bit more careful. It's pretty rough.
Evil Santa spawns them too, so at least not in the speedrun. Just again, they're annoying to deal with. Nothing too major, but again, if you're not too careful, they can get the best of you. And sometimes that's all it takes to make you tilt.
Yeah, it can get really messy really fast.
I know they made me tilt. I'm not gonna lie.
You might see,
snowmen.
You might see some of these ice blocks. There's a few jetpacks along the way, which kind of let you break those ice blocks. However, at the end of this level, we're gonna have pretty significant transformation. Okay, there you go. Those frozen pizzas things. Oh yeah, this room.
So all the products in the background making me laugh. Because since I was playing the game, I never had time to read them.
Satan's Choice
Choice.
Pizza. Alright, from the game that gives you a super jump that is basically a shine spark, we give you a flying transformation that is basically a screw attack.
And now you just pretty much go through the level because you can't take damage in this form, right?
Yeah, you're completely invulnerable, and even if you just walk into enemies, you're still going to kill them on contact. You can even walk over electricity outlets, which normally act as hazards that you have to avoid. You can just walk right over them. Completely fine. Just
like that.
Roll on over
in
there.
This transformation, you do keep your dash, which is cool.
Oh yeah, and you can even use the speed of the dash, and then fly with that speed and just zoom through some of the rooms here. On the last room, you get to do that for a pretty significant amount of time, which is pretty funny to look at.
And it just feels good.
You can also, as you fly around, you can also break the ice blocks as you normally would with the jetpack. Ooh. And on this last room here, we're just gonna pick up speed and just fly all the way to the exit. Nice. Alright, so that's really 3 out of 4 levels on the 4th floor, but the last one we're gonna skip anyway. So we're just gonna move on to the 4th boss fight of the game. Fake Pepino.
One of my favorite ones. Look at him. Look at him. Dude, I was cracking up so much when I first played this, but I was also getting salty because I wasn't catching on to, his patterns and stuff. And the music was getting to me, but I felt like it was too funny. That you can't be mad. If you're mad at this, you may not have a soul.
So yeah, this attack is pretty funny. If you just stand still, you can just dodge it, no problem. So Carter's is gonna take this time flex.
But this way
so
you can interrupt him more, be a little more proactive rather than waiting for him to get vulnerable. You can make, at least at a certain point, you can start making the openings happen.
yeah, with most boss fights, you're kind of just waiting for the boss to attack, and then you counterattack. But here, you're kind of just going on the offensive throughout the whole fight and making your openings so you can actually deal damage. Each time you deal that, okay, Carter's just flexing at this point using the parry. The taunt is almost as a parry. If you taunt just before taking damage, you can just avoid it, which is pretty flashy. Well, the one thing is that during the first phase of the fight, each time you deal damage, there's like a clones phase in which you're just kind of going on the evasive. You can't really damage those clones, so you're kind of just waiting around. However, on the second fight, things are gonna... You don't really have those, so you can just pommel down on fake Peppino pretty fast. I think it moves on quite a bit quicker. And you do have a clone all the time, kind of harassing you as you try to do the fight, but Carter's got this. Carter was able to catch out Peppino in the middle of those super jumps. The window to actually land that hit is pretty narrow, so that's actually kind of impressive.
Kinda, that totally is. And then we have the escape, which got me the first time. Because one, I was hearing this Phoenix Wright-like music. It's this thing's chasing you. At least for me, first time playthrough, I had like no life meter left, so I was actually panicking. But I believe they've nerfed this a few times before because the rubber banding or tethering or whatever was really out of whack. So they basically had to tone them down a couple times.
The layout of the escape itself, the obstacles that you dodge have also changed too. But yeah, it's been made way easier than it was at first, which is appreciated. We're gonna give Snotty a little hug and then move on to the last floor.
I thought he was gonna eliminate him.
Carter kill Snotty. Grabbing
I wouldn't
him and
put it past
tossing
him.
him around would be slower than just going through the door anyway, so there's no need to do that. And now we're gonna go into Pizza Scare, the third to last level in the game.
Another huge skip here at the end too.
Yeah, we have another important trick coming up. So the gimmick of this level is you have that king who goes there following you around, but he doesn't really want you to be here. So as you walk near certain objects, he kind of flies towards them to trigger certain traps to try to hurt you. However, the funny thing is that if you run at full speed, you can actually outrun the ghost and run past the trap before he's able to set them off, which is going to be very important at the end of the level. So before you trigger the escape, there's a section where you're supposed to do a little puzzle. You have to go down a path. You have to take a detour to trap the ghost inside a TV. And then you walk up to the pillar, you trigger the escape, and you go back down the detour to free the ghost. And it just takes a lot of time.
It's really long. Yeah.
And the reason you need to do so is because there's a trap guarding the pillar. However, here in this room, if Carter goes fast enough, there you go.
Boom.
So
it was a
yeah,
significant amount of time.
Usually you would have to take a detour like twice to be able to pull that off. However, by going fast enough, we're able to skip a couple of steps and save about, let's say, 15, 20 seconds.
And then here you got Brick dressed up as Gustavo telling you to get out of the level. Or Gustavo's turned into a rat, whatever perspective you want to have it.
Why not both? They got fused into one.
And then Simon Belmont's... Shout out to Simon Belmont for helping you kill the ghosts.
Yeah,
this level of transformation or gimmick is more like an invincible, and when you get it, it lets you kill these ghosts, which you can't do normally.
It actually does make you invincible. You can, again, walk into enemies and just kill them that way. And you can walk over hazards, just ignore them. It's just cool stuff. Alright, we're going into the second floor of floor 5. Pollock, are you ready right now?
Yes.
I
think in this level, there's alarms that go off, and when they go off, it triggers the animatronics to chase you. And once they catch you, they do a comedic jump scare, but it resets you to the beginning of the room, and it kind of stun locks you for a few seconds because you don't have access to your moves for a few seconds, so you don't want to get hit by them, but most of the time to progress through the rooms, the alarms do need to go off. So, I mean, you're going cast anyway, you probably won't get hit by them, but when I was first playing this, yeah, it was happening quite a lot, and it was tilting me quite a bit.
It's a pretty mild jump scare, mostly played for the joke, because haha. However, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that today, because Carter's got this. He can make his way around pretty swiftly. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about getting actually caught by any of these monsters.
And normally you wait for the things to count down, but if you taunt, it instantly triggers the alarm, so you don't have to wait for it to go off.
Very important to know, because as you mentioned earlier, when the alarm goes off, certain doors open, and sometimes you need that in order to progress. So in those cases where you do need the alarm to go off to continue, being able to just set it off yourself right away does save quite a bit of time. And when it does go off, the monster's gonna chase you around, but again, they can be avoided if you're fast enough. However, you really don't want to get caught. You kind of went over it. You kind of went over it earlier as well. But when you get caught, you get tossed back to the start of the room. You get stuck in an animatronic suit for
it's a significant time loss.
Yeah, like several seconds. Like between between resetting the room and the time you spend as an animatronic, that is a really serious mistake to make in a speed run. And if you're going for and if you're going for 100% runs, it's going to kill your combo right away, and it's gonna, and you also lose a significant amount of points just by getting caught. So, it's really something that you want to avoid at all costs, no matter the context.
Yeah. Yeah, runs not over, but that jump scare stun lock time sequence is a significant loss. Yeah.
And now during the escape sequence, we have a shotgun here, and we're gonna find out just how easy Five Nights at Freddy's would be if you just had a shotgun to defend yourself. There you go.
All Michael Schmidt needed was a gun.
And yeah, with that, we're just gonna wrap up this level. And now we're moving on to
my favorite level. This one I spent the most time in, but I also had the most fun in it. It's just the whole level's an escape sequence, and you get the gun. And at first I was like, how do you have time to do this? But then, quickly get good. This level's literally the speedrun training.
It's kind of like the first stage of a lot of people to what you can really do when you really get a hang of the movement, and you kind of have to if you want to complete it.
Yeah. So there was a huge sense of accomplishment for me when I finally beat it. I was like, "Hell's yeah!"
You don't need to do anything too crazy, but you do need to have a good, you do need to keep up a certain pace in order to reach the end, because the timer is constantly ticking down. You do gain a bit of extra time here and there, but it's not a ton. if you're playing
Yeah.
this for the first time.
And first time you're going through, you're exploring, you don't quite know where to go. So for me, it was like, where the hell? How am I supposed to? But then it's like it literally teaches you to ignore everything and just go.
Or, run them over, whichever one. And another thing of note is that the shotgun, when you have it, you lose access to your grab because you use that button, the grab button, to shoot the gun. And there's a few things that you need the grab for. We use the grab to start the dashes a little bit sooner. We use the grab to do a few maneuvers that let you move a little bit more tightly. So suddenly losing access to it can be pretty jarring at first, and you kind of have to relearn some of your movements while you're holding the shotgun.
It does make a huge difference.
Yeah, it's kind of weird at first, but it's nothing that you can't learn with a little bit of practice. But
And now we enter Torian, where all the Metroids are being made. Instead, they're replaced with fake Peppino clones.
fake Peppinos.
Disturbing. Again, there's so much going on. It's like, now that I'm watching this or watching speedruns of people playing it, I can actually enjoy more of the visuals. Because before I was like too into the game and focusing.
You're too busy playing the game to look at the game.
Yeah, so now it's really cool just to see the game.
Closing in on the end of the level. Grab one last stopping.
Unless he wants to flex and go for a lap 2.
Well, yeah, but that's for 100%. And now with $210 in his pocket, Carter's gonna buy the last boss gate and head over to the Pizza Face fight. And we're just gonna see what he's got in store for us. And he's taking a shower.
He's taking a shower.
We might have caught him at a bad time. Like, we did let him know that this thing was going on, that it would take like about an hour to get here, right? Like, we did tell him, right?
Yes. Now quickly reset so we don't have to watch the opening cutscene. Get right to the fight.
So as you might see there, as you grab an enemy, if you hold up, you can get shot up. You can get shot up into the air in a pile driver, and if you hit Pizza Face with that pile driver, you can deal damage faster. Usually, what you're supposed to do is that you toss the enemy upwards, and then you follow up with a proper hit from Peppino himself. But if you get the chance to snatch enemies, and hey, nice, grab.
Just much faster
right out of the air.
DPS.
Oh. Oh wow, oh yeah, this is real good.
I don't know about you, but I think it's really sus that Peppino's Pizza's out in the middle of nowhere. Look, it's by a forest. It's in a desert. It looks like it's on a cliff. Like, what's it doing out there?
Okay, there you go. Phase 1 can get really nasty really fast if you let the enemies pile up. Like, it always catches people off guard. It's hilarious.
But at least it's not as bad as Pepperman.
True.
Alright, we get a gun for him.
Moving on to phase 2, we're gonna be fighting Pizza Head. And before in the Vigilante fight last time we had a revolver, we did a mix of charge shots and smaller shots. However, since we can't really bully Pizza Head into submissions like we did before, we're gonna be doing smaller shots. Those have higher DPS. There are people who prefer to do charge shots only, regardless, because spamming the shooting button does require a bit of your attention.
Yeah, me personally, I like to charge and get a couple shots in, just so it's easier on my hands, I guess, and less to keep track of, so I can focus on dodging. But again, this is for speed, so gotta go fast.
And now for phase 3, we're gonna have a meetup with all of our friends, but no, Peppino's not having any of this. He's done. He's
done.
had it. He's had it. He's done with all this nonsense. He's just gonna shred us some health bars.
We're in an hour into the run. He's done. Carter's probably feeling it. Everyone's done. Time to beat the living crap out of everyone and get this done.
Nobody likes Pepperman anymore.
Except this music. Or
Sure.
his theme song. Now Gustavo joins the fight because we don't have a gun to fight the vigilante.
I don't think Gustavo was expecting to help out as an improvised projectile, but you know, you do what you gotta do.
You do what you gotta do. All for the glory of pizza.
It's kind of funny that in the rematch, Vigilante is actually more dangerous. Like here, you have like this power trip of a moment where you're just spreading people down, but here actually Vigilante is a bit more dangerous because he actually gets to attack you.
He gets to pull off his moves.
But Carter's not gonna give him a chance anyway. He's just gonna shred him down. Noise is gonna get hit with a good old 1-2.
Gustavo can't help you because he's busy buying clothes at the soup store.
Why is he buying clothes?
Dude, that was so funny. I told people, watch this. You don't need to know anything about Pizza Tower to enjoy it. Like, hey, Gustavo, can you come here for a second? Oh, sorry, I can't. I'm buying clothes. It's like, well, can you come after? He's like, I can't. Oh, they got soup. We're like, what do you mean they got soup? This is the whole thing at the end. He's like, why are you buying soup clothes at a soup store? And Gustavo's like, F you.
All right. We're gonna beat up St. Pepino. The last match that we've got. Things are going really well so far. It's actually, you love to see it. And now, for the last bit of the fight, we're gonna be going up against Pizza Head. He only has 3 attacks, and it's a very, like, fixed and predictable pattern. There's not a ton of crazy stuff going on. However, after such a long fight, this can act as, like, one last composure check for the player.
Yeah, this did get me the first couple times because I was already 4 hours into playing because I played this game in 2 sittings. But I was laughing just because of the funny cartoony attacks. And it's like, the last boss, so it's like also super serious at the same time. And also just nervous because I was running out of health and all that stuff.
And he keeps
And not
healing
knowing.
himself and he keeps mocking you. It's just
Goofy.
But with that, the silliness is gonna be no match for Carter. He's gonna
Super
wrap up the
Saiyan 3
final
right
boss.
here.
However, even though this is the final boss, we're not quite done yet, so don't stop your timers just yet. For now, we're just gonna enjoy the cutscene. Final suplex! And we're just
And then
gonna
it's gonna
pile
be
drive it
scored.
so hard that we're just gonna go into the last level. We're skipping a title card, funny business. And now
Fun
we're just
escape.
gonna escape from the pizza tower before it crumbles down all around us.
I'm going to recruit all our friends we met along the way.
And we're
Including...
gonna run into every gimmick that we've encountered along the way.
Even the one we skipped. From
Oh
the sewer
yeah,
level.
it's gonna be coming up in a little bit. One of the level gimmicks we did just not get. This is gonna be like the trash can. That's something from the last level.
And that enemy
this
right
guy.
there.
Those two we had just like skipped completely.
Dude, Santa can't be evil. Why is he evil? I feel like that's like against the law.
We're gonna be picking up Fake Pepino and Snotty since we managed to keep him alive. And we're just gonna keep going.
Too bad we can't rescue Noisette. Or the sausage.
I think she'll be fine. I think she can
Manage herself or handle herself.
Oh yeah, like if Noise has to look out, like watch out to not get caught, then I don't know what to tell you. She's too powerful. Oh, nice! Oh, that was
Almost
really
had it.
close to being. Usually, what you're supposed to do is that you trip up on the banana and then you fall down into the olive below. Carter almost managed to skip that by doing an uppercut, but he couldn't get every enemy and he couldn't get enough height to actually reach the ledge above, so a little shame that he couldn't like put it all together.
Some last
you
minute
know-
golf.
Yeah, like, the whole tower's crumbling around us, and we need to get out of here before we die, but we always have time for golf.
Just a couple of quick rounds.
Yeah.
I have to start giving these guys names.
Most of
Name
them
the hell
do,
out of everything.
but there's a few that I'm not sure.
And what with the hot wing guy? Does he have a name? I think he did, but I just don't remember.
Kentucky Kenny.
That is hilarious.
We're gonna pick up Bart and Vigilante as we make our way through the second floor, closing in on the end. We're gonna see some more of these dudes. Cool. There was a little... Although, there's a really tight jump that you can do there that saves a little bit of time. It's not the huge time save, but it's pretty cool looking if you manage to pull it off. We're gonna roll around through this raid. Again, we don't want to kill these enemies because there's a 6-frame pit stop each time. We want to avoid those. And now, closing in on the exit, we're gonna pick up Pepperman. We're gonna pick up Jerome, and
Is this a PB?
time. And just like that,
1:12:49. No.
oh well, we'll just have to retime it later. It's okay.
Okay, because I thought wasn't sure what your last time was. I was like, oh my god, is this also a PB?
Well-
The in-game timer does say 1 hour 12 minutes, but we don't really go by the in-game timer since
Yeah.
it stops when you pause and you do a few other things, so we can't really rely on that for the moment.
Based
We
on
just go
our
with
timer
real
that we
time.
started, we've got 1:13 and 40 seconds.
Hey, that's really good. But is it a PB? I think it's not. And no, yeah, that was just a solid run. Nicely done, Carter.
Carter, I believe that you're still muted on your stream.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so I was saying I don't think that was a PB, but anyways, I just wanted to say thank you for having me for Game Over Cancer. It was really awesome to be able to showcase Pizza Tower. If you haven't played this game, definitely pick it up. It's super fun. It's really cheap. If you enjoy platformers, you're gonna really enjoy this game. You don't even get to really see all of the things that make this game awesome in the speedrun. Like when you try and do this for the P ranks and stuff like that, when you're going for score, you get to do some pretty crazy stuff. There's 3 secrets in every level. It's a lot of fun to move in. It's very I'm trying to think of the word here. Precise, accurate. Like the movement feels really, really good. So yeah, if you really like platformers, you'll definitely enjoy this. Highly recommend picking it up. Once again, thank you for having me for Game Over Cancer. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say.
Yeah, it's really nice to have had a chance to just try to talk over this absolute madness of a video game, and it's just it's an honor to have gotten the chance to do this. Thank you very much for having me.
Same, I really appreciate co-hosting on the virtual couch. I always wanted to do stuff like this in person, but last few years COVID really took a toll. I haven't been able to go out to any of these type of events. So even doing it online was a lot, even though I know I wasn't as proactive as XBC, but it was still really cool to chime in and just have you guys' company while we watch Carter do the run. Really appreciate it.
And we certainly loved having you. And if people aren't hungry for pizza after this, I don't know what will do it for them. But before we go, I just want to say that I want to thank Bird for a $100 donation.
Oh,
Absolutely destroying the Bucky hard mode incentive and putting the rest
my God.
towards the Castlevania 3 Sifa run. So with that, I just want to thank all of you who participated here, and I will say to everybody listening in, please hold up and prepare your clench emojis ready, because we're going to have Astalon coming up next with Minfin.